Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal match reaction show. We have just finished watching Arsenal 1, Fulham 0. Another 3 points. We stay top of the league, which is great news, of course. But it was a little bit laboured at times. And I wanted to come on here and say, I thought we made that really difficult for ourselves. I thought, it was one of those games where it felt like last season all over again, not creating high enough quality chances, and almost like, at times it felt like Fulham were the far better team. However, you say all of that, and then you go and look at the stats, and David Raya didn't have a save to make all game. And that kind of blew me away because it felt far more perilous than that. It felt like they had some really good chances. Harry Wilson was really dangerous down the right hand side for Fulham. And I have to admit, I thought Fulham were brilliant in the first sort of 30 minutes, I would say. I thought they were really, really good, really well organised, sprung on our fullbacks, made it difficult for us to progress centrally. And, we're generally a really well organised Marco Silva style team. Like I say, springing on the fullbacks was a really good idea from them because they just made it very, very difficult to progress centrally. And then as soon as we tried to use Timber or Calafiori to progress, they would hit them hard and fast with the wingers. So yeah, it was a good game plan from them. Eventually, our quality told. A goal from a corner, and the snobs who always say, "Oh, goals from a corner, that's all you're about." Well, this is the kind of game where it comes in absolutely, absolutely clutch because we have 3 points and we are still top of the league. So I'm delighted. I'm delighted with that. But yeah, like I say, I think our attack was not great. Saka, a wonderful player who led the kind of attacking front almost solo. Apart from his goal, I thought Leandro Trossard left a lot to be desired, and my two biggest disappointments of the day, who I will probably talk about a lot more tomorrow on the full review show. So follow if you want to see my full match review tomorrow. I thought Eze and Gyökeres were really disappointing. Eze just did not get into the game at all. And when he was given opportunities to get into the game, I thought his quality was lacking. And when he came off at 60 minutes for Mikel Merino, I thought that was the right change. Gyökeres, I think in the first 30, 35 minutes, he had two touches. We did a better job in the second half of getting the ball to his feet and giving him an option to kind of turn and shoot or make something for himself. But I think there is a case that, he's. I think there's probably a 50-50 blame here. We're not finding him enough and in good enough positions, and we're not connecting with him particularly well, which is worrying, sort of this many games into the season. But also, I think there's more of an onus on him to, when he does get the chances and when the ball is played into him, stick it, keep hold of it. Kai Havertz is absolutely fantastic at that, and I think Gyökeres has got a way to go. So yeah, the attack didn't click. There were some nervy moments in the first 30 minutes where Eze gave the ball away cheaply, Gabriel gave the ball away cheaply, and it looked like this was sort of where Fulham got their chances from, right? They had an effective pressing strategy, they had an effective counter-attacking strategy, and I thought as well, by the way, Fulham's decision to not go with a back three was a really good one because we know how good our midfield is, right? Rice and Zubimendi are absolutely fantastic, and usually Eze is a very, very good player. Fulham said, we're not going to let those three play. We're not going to give you space there. We're not going to give you the opportunities in front of our box. And you've got to remember, when I picked my lineup, I picked Ethan Wanieri to play in that 10 and Eze to be up on the left. The reason being is I thought we would see Fulham drop off a lot, potentially into that back three. And from there, I thought we'd get lots of opportunities for shots from the edge of the box. And I wanted us to connect with Gyökeres a little bit better. I thought that was a good way of doing it. Actually, with the way Fulham played, they didn't do the dropping off. And I think they made it really difficult for our midfield to get going in the first 30 minutes. And we did start to figure it out, later in the game. I'm sure there will be a really big debrief, and I'll be part of that big debrief. And I guess my closing thoughts on this instant reaction are, I'm so glad we have tools like our excellent defence. And Gabby was brilliant in the second half. I thought Saliba, Timber, really, really good as well. Absolutely fantastic defenders, dual-based players. They are wonderful. So I'm really glad we have our defence and another clean sheet. Fantastic for my fantasy football team, by the way. I'm really glad we have our weapons of corners and, a player like Leandro Trossard who was having a kind of rough game, but popped up in the right time, at the right spot at the right time. Delighted about that. We are so lucky to have these weapons, and it's almost a case of great. Our old reliables worked for us, absolutely fantastic. But we were supposed to be moving away from having to rely on them quite so much. I think it's 7 goals now from corners and only 5 from open play. So there are questions. There are definitely questions, and I will get into them more tomorrow, because I thought the players that we had on in the forward part of our pitch, probably minus Saka, could have done a lot more and probably should have done a lot better. But we did get the win. And I think my final closing thought for this instant reaction, because I want to get something out to you guys nice and quickly. My final thought is we drew this game last year. I think we lost it the year before. And actually, we are turning results around at the moment. That's 3 games in a row where we have improved our result from the previous season. Of course, our first game of the year against Manchester United, we did that as well. So you got to think we are doing a slightly better job this year than last year, and maybe the year before, of taking these games where a team turns up and plays very well against us, but we show our quality, and we're getting that into 3 points much more regularly. So that's really, really important. Sum up: fantastic defence, fantastic defenders, fantastic ability from set pieces, but more concerns in open play. Glad we got the win. Glad we're still top of the table. If you want to hear my full match review tomorrow, make sure you go and hit follow or subscribe, because we're on YouTube now. So follow on the podcast platforms and subscribe on YouTube. That video will come out tomorrow. And happy days that we are top of the league. Thank you so much for following. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.